Did you know that sacrificing your self-respect, your dreams and your passions could be costing you the very essence of who you are? In a world that constantly pressures us to compromise, it's easy to forget what truly matters. But what if I told you that the things you should never give up on are the keys to living a life that's fulfilling, meaningful, and true to yourself? If you want to live life on your terms and avoid feeling trapped in situations that don't serve you, then you need to prioritize these non-negotiables: your self-respect, your dreams, and your passions. These are the building blocks that give your life direction and purpose. So, let's talk about the best lessons I've learned about protecting what's most important and how doing so can transform your life in ways you never imagined. Number 1. The power of walking away. Financial independence as freedom. Imagine this. You're standing at a crossroads, faced with a decision that could shape the course of your life. You feel stuck, as though the weight of your circumstances is pressing down on you. But now imagine something else: having the ability to walk away from situations that don't serve you, without fear, without guilt, and without second-guessing whether you're risking everything. That's the essence of financial independence. It's not just about money in the bank or living luxuriously. It's about having the freedom to choose the life you want, without external pressures dictating your path. Think about how often we're held back by financial constraints: staying in a toxic job because the paycheck feels irreplaceable, maintaining unhealthy relationships out of economic necessity, or simply suppressing dreams because they don't seem practical. For a moment, let's pause and reflect. Have you ever felt trapped by a situation because leaving seemed impossible? That's a shared human experience, one that creates a sense of helplessness. But financial independence shifts the narrative. It hands you the keys to your own destiny. Now think back to a time when you made a tough decision that was right for you. Perhaps you walked away from a job, a relationship, or an environment that drained you. Do you remember the mix of fear and relief? It's empowering to know that walking away doesn't have to mean risking it all. Financial independence ensures that you're never entirely at the mercy of others. It's the quiet confidence of knowing you're in control, no matter what life throws your way. That power is worth fighting for, worth every ounce of effort to achieve. And here's where curiosity steps in. What would your life look like if you had that freedom? If you could leave behind anything that no longer aligns with your values, what would you choose? What opportunities would you embrace? Financial independence isn't just a dream, it's a blueprint for living life on your terms. Let that thought linger as we dive deeper into how to build this foundation of control. Number 2. Building financial independence. A foundation for control. Picture a house built on solid rock. It weathers storms, stands tall through challenges, and provides safety no matter what. Now picture a house built on shaky ground. Every gust of wind threatens its collapse. Financial independence is like that rock-solid foundation, giving you stability and control when life gets turbulent. And here's the beauty of it. Anyone can build it, step by step, with the right tools and mindset. The first step is understanding that financial independence isn't about being wealthy. It's about managing what you have wisely. Think about your first paycheck or the moment you realized the value of saving. Maybe it was when you learned the hard way after an emergency drained your account. These moments are relatable because they're universal. Everyone, from the college student juggling part-time jobs to the retiree on a fixed income, has experienced the anxiety of financial insecurity. But the good news: every small step toward financial independence helps diminish that anxiety. Do you remember the first time you felt the satisfaction of paying off a debt or reaching a savings goal? That sense of pride is the cornerstone of financial independence. It's not about deprivation, it's about making intentional choices. Every dollar saved, Every budget created and every unnecessary expense avoided adds to your foundation of control. It's about knowing that if something goes wrong, a job loss, a breakup, or an unexpected bill, you have a safety net to catch you. Now think about your future self. What kind of life do you envision? One where you're constantly stressed about money, or one where you have the freedom to explore, create, and enjoy? The steps you take today, budgeting, saving, investing, are what pave the way to that life. It's not always glamorous, and yes, it requires discipline, but every step brings you closer to a life where you call the shots. Can you picture that? A life where financial independence gives you the confidence to weather any storm and seize every opportunity. And here's the intriguing part. What does control really feel like? Is it the ability to say no to a job that doesn't align with your values? Is it having the resources to help a loved one without jeopardizing your own stability? Or is it the quiet reassurance of knowing you're prepared for whatever comes next? As you reflect on these questions, let's explore why financial autonomy is so vital to your well-being and sense of self. Number 3. Why financial autonomy is non-negotiable. Imagine someone trying to negotiate away your sense of self-respect or your freedom to make choices. It sounds unthinkable, doesn't it? Yet, when we give up our financial autonomy, we're often sacrificing more than just money. We're giving away our ability to stand firm, set boundaries, and live authentically. Financial autonomy isn't just about economics, it's about dignity. Let's take a moment to look back. Do you recall a time when you felt forced to say yes to something you didn't want, simply because you didn't have the financial means to say no? Maybe it was staying in a job that drained you, or perhaps it was a relationship where money became a tool of control. These experiences leave a lasting impact, making us realize just how essential financial autonomy is. Without it, we're vulnerable to manipulation and compromise. With it, we reclaim our power. Nostalgia plays a role here too. Think of your younger self, perhaps dreaming of a future where you'd call the shots. That sense of hope, that vision of independence, it's still within reach. Financial autonomy is the bridge between the dreams of your past and the reality of your present. It allows you to stay true to yourself and pursue the life you've always envisioned. Here's where curiosity takes the stage. What could you achieve if you weren't bound by financial limitations? Would you start your own business, travel the world, or dedicate time to a cause close to your heart? Financial autonomy unlocks doors you may not even realize are closed. It's not just about avoiding worst-case scenarios, it's about creating best-case ones. So, as you consider your own journey, ask yourself, how can you take the first step towards securing this invaluable sense of freedom? With these thoughts in mind, let's transition to the next critical element in building a meaningful and empowered life: the vital role of passion. Number 4. The vital role of passion in a fulfilling life. Imagine a moment when time seemed to melt away, when you were so deeply immersed in something you loved that the hours passed unnoticed. Perhaps it was painting, playing an instrument, crafting a story, or pursuing a sport. That joy, that spark, is the essence of passion, a force that breathes life into our routines, making even the hardest days more bearable. In the rush of adulthood, many of us put our passions on the back burner. We tell ourselves there will be time later, after the bills are paid and the practical demands are met. But in doing so, we lose touch with what truly energizes us. Passion isn't just a hobby, it's a lifeline to a more meaningful existence. Think back to your younger self. Was there something you couldn't wait to do after school or work? Something that made your heart race and filled your days with excitement? Now reflect on how that passion faded or was perhaps buried under the weight of responsibilities. The loss of that passion often leaves an emptiness that no amount of material success can fill. This isn't just nostalgia. It's a reminder of the part of ourselves that craves creativity and connection. Curiosity arises. How do we reclaim that energy? How do we reignite the fire of passion? The answer lies in small, deliberate steps. Start carving out time, no matter how small, to reconnect with what makes you feel alive. It's not about finding hours, but about seizing moments. Your passion deserves a place in your life, not just for what it gives you, but for the ripple effect it creates. When you pursue what you love, you inspire others to do the same. Number 5. Reclaiming your passion. A journey. Back to yourself. The path to reclaiming your passion often begins with a quiet realization. Something is missing. Maybe you felt it, a lingering sense of dissatisfaction, a nagging feeling that life has become a series of to-do lists and obligations. That void is often the absence of passion, the thing that once made you feel most connected to yourself. Take a moment to picture your ideal day, not the day you think you should have, but the one where you wake up excited and go to bed fulfilled. What's in it? For many of us, those elements come from our passions, the activities that align with our deepest selves. Reclaiming them is an act of self-love and self-respect. For example, I once met someone who rediscovered their love for photography after years of leaving their camera to collect dust. They started with just a weekend walk, snapping photos of ordinary things, a tree in bloom, a sunset, a candid moment on the street. Those small acts of creation began to reshape their world, infusing their life with color and purpose. The journey back to your passion may not be easy, but it's worth it. You'll face doubts. Is this worth my time? And perhaps even resistance from others. But as you nurture your passion, you'll notice a shift. Life starts to feel richer, more vibrant. You may even find that this reconnection with yourself spills over into other areas, giving you more energy for work, relationships, and personal growth. Curious about where to start? Begin with one small step. Set aside time this week for an activity you love. Protect that time fiercely. Your passion isn't a luxury, it's a necessity for a fulfilling life. Number 6. Protecting what makes you you. Boundaries, dreams, and passion. Life has a way of chipping away at the things that define us. The demands of work, relationships, and daily responsibilities often crowd out our ability to focus on our dreams, set boundaries, and nurture our passions. But these elements, boundaries, dreams, and passion, aren't just extras. They are the core of who we are. Boundaries are your shield, the lines you draw to protect your time, energy, and emotional well-being. Without them, it's all too easy to become overwhelmed, to let the expectations of others take precedence over your needs. Think about the last time you said yes to something when you wanted to say no. How did it make you feel? Now imagine reclaiming that time for something meaningful, like pursuing a dream or exploring a passion. Your dreams are the compass guiding you toward your ideal life. Yet how often do we let them be dismissed, either by ourselves or others, as impractical or out of reach? Every great accomplishment started as a dream that someone dared to pursue. Protecting your dreams means honoring your vision for your life, even when the path seems unclear. Passion, as we've explored, is the fuel that keeps you going. But here's the key. Passion, boundaries, and dreams are interconnected. When you establish boundaries, you create space for your passion. When you nurture your passion, you gain the energy and clarity to chase your dreams. And when you pursue your dreams, you build a life that aligns with your values and desires. Curiosity should drive you to examine, are you protecting what makes you you? If not, what's stopping you? It's time to take a stand for yourself. Say no to the distractions and pressures that pull you away from your authentic self. Say yes to the boundaries that guard your time, the dreams that inspire you, and the passions that bring you joy. Number 7. Living true to yourself, the ultimate key to happiness. When was the last time you paused and asked yourself, am I living a life that's truly mine? In the whirlwind of responsibilities, expectations, and societal norms, it's so easy to lose sight of who we are at our core. But living authentically, being true to yourself, isn't just a feel-good mantra, it's the foundation of genuine happiness. Let's explore what it really means to live true to yourself and why it matters so deeply. Picture this. You're at a crossroads in life, trying to decide between a path that feels safe and a path that feels right. The safe path is lined with the expectations of others, your family, your peers, society. It promises comfort, stability, and approval. The right path, though, it's unpaved, unfamiliar, and fraught with uncertainty. But it calls to you in a way that's undeniable because it aligns with your dreams, values, and passions. In that moment, the choice you make speaks volumes about whether you're living for yourself or for others. Now think back to when you were a child. Remember how clear your desires were. Whether it was a favorite hobby, a dream of what you wanted to become, or even the simple joys that lit up your day, there was no hesitation, no second guessing. You pursued what made you happy, unapologetically. But as we grow older, the noise of the world gets louder. We're told to be practical, to meet expectations, to not ruffle feathers. And slowly, that childlike clarity gets buried under layers of compromises. Living true to yourself means stripping away those layers. It's about returning to that childlike clarity, but with the wisdom and strength of adulthood. It's about recognizing what truly matters to you, unapologetically pursuing it, and having the courage to say no to what doesn't align with your values. And yes, it takes courage, immense courage, because living authentically often means swimming against the current. Relatability is key here. We've all been there, choosing a career that felt acceptable rather than one that ignited our passion, staying in a relationship because it seemed easier than walking away, or suppressing our true selves to fit into a mold. But here's the thing, every time you make those compromises, you're chipping away at your happiness. The dissonance between who you are and the life you're living creates a kind of restlessness, an emptiness that no amount of external validation can fill. Have you ever met someone who just radiates joy? They're not necessarily the wealthiest, the most accomplished, or even the most traditional success story. What sets them apart is their authenticity. They're living a life that's aligned with who they truly are, and that alignment brings a kind of peace and contentment that's contagious. That's the power of living true to yourself. But authenticity isn't about living without challenges. In fact, it often invites them. Saying no to societal norms, standing firm in your values, and pursuing your own path can be incredibly hard. It might mean letting go of relationships that no longer serve you, making career choices that others don't understand, or simply being vulnerable enough to show the world who you really are. And yes, it's scary. But what's scarier is looking back on your life and realizing you've been living someone else's version of it. To live true to yourself, you first have to know yourself. What are your core values? What makes you feel alive? What are the non-negotiables in your life? These questions aren't always easy to answer, but they're crucial. Take time to reflect, to journal, to peel back the layers of expectations and rediscover what lies beneath. And once you've found those answers, guard them fiercely. It's also important to surround yourself with people who celebrate your authenticity rather than challenge it. These are the people who lift you up, who see your true self and encourage you to shine. They're the ones who remind you that it's okay to be different, to take risks, to live boldly, and if your current circle doesn't offer that support, it's time to find a new one, because the journey to living authentically is hard enough without the weight of judgment and negativity. Now, let's shift gears and think about the ripple effect of living true to yourself. When you're authentic, you inspire others to be authentic too. Your courage becomes a beacon for those who are still trapped by their fears. Your joy reminds them of what's possible when you prioritize your own happiness. In this way, living true to yourself isn't just a gift to yourself, it's a gift to everyone around you. There's a common misconception that living authentically means rejecting all practicality or responsibility, but that's not the case. It's about finding a balance that works for you, honoring your responsibilities while still prioritizing your truth. It's about making choices that align with your values, even if they're unconventional or misunderstood. And most importantly, it's about giving yourself permission to change. Because who you are at 20 might not be who you are at 40, and that's okay. Authenticity isn't static. It's a continuous journey of self-discovery and growth. So, as you think about your own life, ask yourself this: are you living for yourself, or are you living for others? And if the answer isn't what you want it to be, what can you do to change it? Living true to yourself isn't easy, but it's worth every ounce of effort, because at the end of the day, your happiness, your peace, and your sense of fulfillment depend on it. If you've made it this far, drop 100 in the comments. It's a clear sign that you're part of the 0.01% who are committed to finishing what they start and taking control of their own life. You've taken the first step towards protecting what truly matters: your self-respect, your dreams, and your passions. This is the foundation for a life that's not only fulfilling, but authentic to who you are. If you're serious about making lasting changes and living life on your terms, make sure to join our community by subscribing to the channel. Together, we'll continue to explore ways to align your choices with your values, so you can build a future that's everything you've dreamed of. Thanks for being here, and remember, you deserve to live a life that's true to yourself.